here we go. Here's a UFO story. I guess about 8 years ago, 10 years ago or something. Maybe, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago. Anyway, I was standing outside my back porch, which, if you'd like to see it, I'll show it to you, but it's just over there. And those trees weren't there at the time. And I came out at night, and I'm standing there, and I see out here, I see 3 lights coming my way. Well, at first it just looked like a bank of lights, like a plane, a small plane perhaps. And it was coming my way, and it was over the trees, maybe 100 feet, and it was coming my way. And at first I thought it was a plane coming in and was about to crash, because it was going way too low. So I watched this thing, and as it came over, and I was thinking, oh boy, too bad I don't have my camera. And it came over, and it came over my head, and there were 3 lights, 2 and then 1, and I judged the distance of, the width of the whatever it was at maybe 100 yards. That's about what it looked like. I could show you exactly the spot, exactly how I saw it and how I determined that. But anyway, I looked up as the lights went over my head, and I expected to see an airplane, but it was totally silent, and it was going really slow. So as I looked up, one of the lights was right above me as it went over my head. And I looked up into it, thinking it would be like a beam of light, or I would see something that I could understand. And what it looked like water. And it was like shimmering, and it was changing colors. You couldn't discern the color at any one given second. You could say, oh, it's blue, and then all of a sudden it's like yellowish and reddish or something. And it just was like morphing colors, but it looked like water. And I had a pretty good look at it. And so it kept on going, and it went over a pond that is behind me, which is about a half mile long or something. And it just floated over the pond at the same level as that. And I went around to the other side of the house, and I looked out the window, and I could see it still going over the pond. And it finally went way out and went over the trees at the end of the pond and stuff, and wherever it went. So that's pretty exciting. So what do you do in situation like that? You try to figure out what it looked like and stuff like that. Well, the only thing I got out of it was 3 lights. It was dead quiet, and when I looked up into the lights, it looked like water. Okay, so a year later, same time. And how do I know this? Because I remembered where the stars were, and Orion's belt was just over there. And this thing was over here. So anyway, I just happened to be out there. I took my dog out on the porch, and I was standing there, and it was about 8 o'clock at night again. And again, I saw lights coming. So this time I said, oh my gosh, I should run in and grab my camera, which would be my video camera, but to set it up, put the battery on, and get it all on and downstairs and back out, I figured I might miss this. And so I said my best bet would be to look at it and see if I can gather any more information on it. So again, it came up, it came over the hill, no, not the hill, but came across the thing and flew over me. This time I looked to see if I could see the stars behind it, and I couldn't see the stars behind it, and I couldn't. It's really hard to explain, but perhaps they were just three lights by themselves and flying in a triangle formation. I couldn't tell. So again, I looked up into the light, one of the lights going over my head, and I had a perfect view. It was coming straight over me, and I looked up, and I couldn't tell you what it was again. It looked like water, and it shimmered kind of, and just kind of morphed, but it looked like water. I keep saying that because it looked like liquid or water or something like that, but it was translucent, and you could, it was just morphing colors. So that's one of my UFO stories. But to top that off, that was just one UFO story. I will recount other ones, but that was the one that made me decide to go up the pond and go in that direction just to see if they maybe landed somewhere. Who knows? So that's what I did, and that's when this whole story started, was then, because that's when I found the fur, and then the next day the fur was gone, and all the other things were gone, and things started to happen, and that's my whole story right there. That's what got me into this Sasquatch stuff. Okay, this is another story. We'll call it story 2. Alright, here I am. I'm looking up at the sky one night. I come out, I'm standing right there, and I happen to just look up at the sky. And up way out there, I see Orion's belt. Now, I watch the stars all the time, so I know what Orion's belt looks like and all that kind of stuff, and I always seem to know where it is in the sky. It's supposed to have been over there. Well, I'm looking over here, and there's 3 stars there. And I'm thinking, wow, that just isn't correct. There's something weird going on. So I'm looking at it, and there's 3 stars, and all of a sudden, the middle star drops. Starts dropping down. It's just white, and then it just drops and drops and drops and drops and drops, and all of a sudden it just kind of fizzles out and disappears. So that's another story. Now I'm going to tell you about a third story. Okay, I'm standing here. I'm actually looking out the window. No, I'm on the back porch, sorry. And I'm looking up, and I see this bank of lights, and it was like 8 lights, 2 by 2. By 2 by 2, they were next to each other. Well, the lights were like shimmering crystals. The light was very, very bright. Not like your basic regular lights. These were very sparkly, crystally, just super duper bright, and they were going across the sky. And this couldn't have been more than, I don't know, maybe 500 feet, because I'm at 1,000 feet. So it was probably about 500 feet. But anyway, it just went across the sky, this bank of these things, not making a sound. It was about 7 o'clock in the afternoon. At night, it was winter, so it was dark by then, and people were coming home from work. I could hear them going by on the highway, and I'm surprised nobody saw that, and maybe they did. But anyway, that was the third one, so I watched that go all across the sky. Okay. Now, let's go to another one. Let's see, which one was... Okay, we'll go to another one. I'm sitting out back with a friend, and I'm telling them about all these things I keep seeing in the sky. So I'm sitting there, and I'm got my binoculars on, and all of a sudden I see something up in the sky. And I mean, it's pretty far up. It's cloud level, let's say. And it's just in the sky, and it's like 4 or 5 balls all together, and they were all like pulsating different colors, kind of like morphing different colors, and it was just going across the sky really slow, but you could only see it with binoculars. So I grabbed some binoculars from my friend, and she saw it too, and it was real far away, but you could see it, and it just went across. We watched for a good, I don't know, it went from, I caught it about there, and we watched it for a good, 15 minutes, and you could see other things in the sky that were going different ways and stuff like that, and different speeds, but this thing was just like tumbling along and kind of morphing colors. So that was a weird one. Let's see. Oh, okay. There's so many. I thought I'd be able to do this really easily. So anyway, here we are. I'm looking up in the sky, and there's clouds up there, and it's nighttime, and there's clouds way out there. Kinda, not way out there, but anyway, the point is, all of a sudden I see this white dot, and it comes over, and it actually stops in the clouds just over it. Next thing I know, it sends out a white beam of light down into the cloud for some reason. Well, as the clouds moved, there was actually another dot in there. And there's this beam thing coming down to this other one. Meanwhile, this other white dot was going off this way. And it went pretty far. And then all of a sudden, after a while, it started coming back. And then both of them put a beam down in the clouds there that was still rumbling by. So, that went on for quite a bit, maybe 10 minutes. And I had a friend here, and it was witnessed. And then they all flew off in different directions. Like one went that way, one went that way, one went that way, and that was that. That was an exciting one. Alright, here's another one. I was standing outside, again, just at my back porch over this way, and I see from across this area of the pond, there's another pond area over here. And this is only like 300 yards wide, but it's just a little pond area, but fairly big. But anyway, I saw this black object. It was about the size of a baseball coming towards me. Now that doesn't sound really exciting, but I'll tell you why. So anyway, it was coming towards me, and it took a long time to get here. And I was saying to my friend, there's this black thing coming towards us, and she couldn't see it at the time. I guess she couldn't focus on it, but it was just coming towards us over the pond. Came through the tree openings and came pretty close up to me and us, maybe 20 feet above us, and then turned left and then went up, and guess where it went? It went up the pond in the same direction as everybody else seems to go. And the funny thing about this was, the thing appeared to be the same size all the time. Now, I don't know how you can do that, but that's what it did. It appeared to be the same size even as it was traveling up to me and away from me. And I could see it with my bare eyes going down the pond, and it seemed like it was the same size. So anyway, that was kind of weird. Gosh, let's see. Okay, there's numerous other sightings where I've taken my camera and I've pointed it up into the sky at certain times, and I've looked up and I blow up the photos, and I see white things in the sky doing acrobatics. And they must be way, way, way out there, miles out there. And I had a 14 megapixel camera that I was using to do that. And you see some of the pictures on one of my videos. But gosh, let's see. There's been just the other day I looked up and I saw a white dot way, 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 way up in the sky, and it was just sitting there. And I remarked to myself, why do you have to keep doing this, you know? Come down here and say hello, or do something like that, you know? And or at least just don't let me see you, you know? Because it kind of gets to you after a while, you know? It's like you get to see all this stuff like ghosts and things and dimensions and UFOs and all sorts of things, and I've had so many things happen to me, it's ridiculous, but it does get bothersome after a while. But anyway, I've seen lights come up over the horizon, go back down, come back up, go down, kind of like dance around and just act stupid, just along horizons. Not this one, in the back here. Let's see. Oh, at one point, and I'm not even going to say this one yet. Okay, at one point, no, I'm not even going to say this. Okay, at one point I was getting bruises. Just wake up with bruises and scratch marks. And I went through a lot of trying to figure out what that would be and ways of making it so I couldn't do that. And I was thinking maybe I'm being abducted at night. And because I'd wake up beat some days, you know, just tired and stuff like that, and scratches on my legs and stuff, and I'd be like, wow, was I out like walking or something somewhere? And anyway, that's kind of subsided, so that's good. I changed rooms actually, and I'm in an inner room because of that, and I don't seem to have that problem anymore, so I don't know what that's about, if there's anything to that. I'll try to remember some other stuff here. Okay, here is where, this is the back of my house here, and that's the pond. And this is where I see lots of lights going over the horizon and stuff coming up and just hanging out there, it seems, for some reason. Anyway, this is where I saw the black object come flying towards me real slow, and then it just went that way, and it went up the pond, which I'll show you in a bit. But here's the funny thing about this. I reported a couple of UFO incidences, the ones with the lights actually that were just up here, came over my head here and flew over like that. I reported that to MUFON, I think, and some other places. Well, I never got a reply from them. But now this is really funny, and this is coincidence. Not a month later, there was a big satellite up there. What's it mean? It's coincidence. But there's now been a big satellite up there. It's kind of funny. So here's my back porch. This porch actually wasn't here. It was about this wide. So anyway, that day when I first saw this thing, I was standing out like right here, and those trees weren't there and nothing, and I saw the lights coming over from the horizon. I was up in the window over there a minute ago, and I saw these lights come over the horizon, and they came over my head, and I looked up, and I could see into one of the lights because it was here. The other light was over here, and the other one had passed me up here, but the other one came right over my head, and it was like that. And I looked up, and that's when I saw inside the light. And anyway, I followed it, and it went that way. And you can't see this way now because I have my porch and all that, but I'll show you something in a sec. Yeah, there's just too many trees here now. I mean, there was no trees. If you could see through here, you could see there's water, and you could see the horizon. Yeah, you can kind of. There's horizon down there. That's the end of the pond. It's half mile, 3/4 mile. Anyway, these lights just went over my head and just carried on over the pond and down. I went up to one of my windows up there, and I looked out, and I could just see it floating over the pond. And that was twice. And here's where I was standing when I saw Orion's belt. 1, 2, 3 stars right in a row, perfectly aligned like they're supposed to. And I knew it wasn't supposed to be there. It's supposed to be over here. And actually, I know the center star just dropped, and it went like that and dropped out of sight. Well, here's one I forgot to mention. I was looking down in down the valley there, and like I say, we're 1,000 feet up, but I was looking down in the valley kind of thing, and I could see in the trees down in there a glowing object. Oops, I can't do it there. A glowing object. So that was another strange one, and it was like tree level, and I've never ever seen it again or anything, and it was just like glowing, and it was glowing different colors. It's always interesting. Okay, so there I am. I'm sitting in my kitchen, standing at the window, I mean, and I'm looking out the window, and I'm looking for chickadees that usually inhabit this tree over here. I will show you this. So I am looking at this tree over here. Well, this is going to sound really stupid and really strange. Oh, here comes some noise makers. Well, this whole tree, this one here, goes black from the top to about there, and it went totally black. Now you might think, oh, that was just a shadow. Well, this was totally black. I mean, black, black, black. There is nothing other than something totally black that could show up like that, because, you know, the light, as you can see, is, you know, it's light. So anyway, I was looking at that, and this whole tree part seemed like it went black, and I've never seen this before. I got out my binoculars, which are in that window, and it's only like 60 feet away, and I looked at that area, and it was totally black. It was like a black hole. I mean, it was just like there was nothing there. It was totally black. It was almost like square, rectangular, I mean, but it was like squared, and it was like right where the tree is, like that. And I watched it for a couple minutes, and I just couldn't think of what it was. I mean, it was just not doing something that's normal. I've never seen anything like that in my life. So I went to the back door, and I came out, and I came out here and looked, and it had gone by then. So I have no idea what that was, and just one of those things, I guess, that I happen to see all the time. But another one of those things.